and welcome to day 6 of Parent and Infant Mental Health Scotland's content for Maternal Mental Health Awareness Week. So as I say, this video is being produced for day 6 of the week, and the theme of this day is support for all families. My name is Emma and I'm the comms officer at PIMS, and today I'm having a chat with Kathleen at Home-Start East Highland, and we're going to have a chat about how they support, how they provide support for all the families in their region and the particular challenges that their regional demographics present for them. So Kathleen, thank you very much for agreeing to meet with me today. Do you want to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your role at Home-Start and the kind of work that your Home-Start does?
Thanks, Emma. Thanks for asking me along. Yes, my name's Kathleen. I work for Home-Start East Highland. I am a senior coordinator. We've got 2 senior coordinators. I cover from our Inverness office. I cover Wester Ross, Lochaber, Badenoch-Strathspey, Inverness and Nairnshire. Our coordinator up in Invergordon, Leanne Jack, she covers Sutherland, Easter Ross, Mid Ross, and Invergordon is our main office. Inverness is the satellite office. So we have staff based here, and we've also got staff based up in Invergordon. The area that we cover has been, I've been told that it's the same as the size of Belgium. We cover the Highland mainland region, so it's just the mainland area that we cover. We have been working in conjunction with Home-Start Caithness, and they cover the top half of Scotland, Caithness area. So we cover Sutherland, down covering Mid, Easter Ross, over to Wester Ross, like I said, Lochaber, Badenoch-Strathspey. The area we cover is colossal, really. You know, when we're trying to reach out to these families, I have recently sort of been travelling around introducing our service to areas, but to go to Fort William for here, it's a 4-hour round trip. Over to Kyle on the west, it's another 4-hour round trip. If we go up to Gairloch, it's 3 hours round trip. Ullapool's 2.5 hours. Everything is a really long trip. It's a long day. Of course, we've got our own support locally, which is what our core support is. The perinatal support is the support that's now been funded so that we can cover the rest of the Highland region. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of planning. And it can be quite challenging, especially over the winter months. You can put a lot of time planning into a trip, and on the day of it, if the weather's not great, you really just have to cancel all that, all the time that you've put into it. But our support locally, we are able to offer volunteers and family support worker support. In these other areas, we have spent a lot of time and effort introducing our service. We put editorials out in local newspapers, local community bulletins. We have literally, walked the pavements in all these faraway places, handing out leaflets, handing out brochures, trying to get volunteers needed leaflets out in local shops, local businesses, local communities. But to this day, we still haven't been able to have any volunteers in these areas. So all the support is coordinator supported. Which is a different way, obviously, than we would normally be doing things. But it's the only way. We were waiting for volunteers to come to us, but we just took the decision that we realised there was a real need for our support in these other areas. So we just made the decision that we've got to start accepting referrals. We have been able to build it, but it really is just through staff. We don't have the volunteers available to be able to provide more, I think.
Can you tell me what kind of challenges it poses to parents and families that you're working with?
Yes, for our locations around Inverness and Mid Ross, Easter Ross, that we can access services for families. There's far more availabilities in some areas, but certainly as soon as you go into the further away areas, it's the lack of services. Families cannot access anything. It's really quite difficult. We've managed to speak with Christians Against Poverty, who are a debt advice service. We spoke to them about because there's no service for that around Wester Ross and further. So we had to sort of set up communication with them, have a meeting with them, and now they will take families from that area as well. Another area where it's very difficult is there's absolutely no support for fathers. And of course, our perinatal project is supporting the family as a whole. And I remember one time, one of the health visitors had phoned me saying that, a father was really struggling, but did we have any more knowledge on anything that they could access? So I managed to speak to Dad's Rock, who are they're very supportive, but down in the Central Belt. But after a bit of discussion with them, they're quite happy to take phone call support as well. But it's they just don't have the basic, even the travel is a really bad. They don't have regular transport, or they might have one bus a day, which can take them to a group, but there's not enough a bus then to take them home from a group. So it's just accessing local amenities. The choice for shopping is very limited, so the costs tend to be very, very high for any shopping. As a result of all these things, anxiety within families, social isolation within families is high, and families just feeling cut off, just that they don't belong anywhere, that there's, and as a result, their children are not getting maybe the contact with other children that would really benefit them, the whole family really, if they could just access facilities or get out. That lots of people take it for granted. There's baby groups all over the place. So today I think I'll just pop there instead of that one, but they just don't have that. And then COVID came, and it was like a different level of being cut off. So we were able to support families that we couldn't go and see. We were able to support them with things like this Zoom or Teams meeting or WhatsApp videos, but you really have to be able to access broadband. You can lose a signal at a drop of a hat, and so it's very, very limited of how you can provide good quality support when you can't actually even have that basic conversation. So and I think that is.
And people watching this video might get a sense of that, because we definitely are dipping in and out of the broadband. And I don't think it's mine. I'm sitting just outside Glasgow, and I think mine is
ours is generally good, but we are up in the Highlands here, so it can, when we think we're doing okay. But it can be quite frustrating, where you just felt, if they could just access that, if they were just able to get that, if they could just get a bus on time to get them to that appointment, and then be able to get a bus back into. So it's quite difficult. It can be very challenging, especially if you don't have your own transport. We managed to access some of our funding to purchase Highland rail cards for some of the families, so they were even able to travel to Inverness to do a shopping, which wasn't going to be the most extortionate thing in the world for them, or to just access things with the children. So it's just trying to open things up for them.
Okay, no, that sounds brilliant. So is there anything that you think generally needs to change in order to better support parents who are living in rural communities?
I think it's for other services and organisations, and even officials from these organisations that make big decisions regarding support that's meant to be accessed in these areas. I think maybe just getting an understanding of the little things, of managing to get 3 miles into the local town to do a shopping, to get an idea of the difficulties of getting 3 miles along the road, or the difficulties in accessing the doctor's appointment at the time, trying to work around a bus that travels in at 7 in the morning, comes home at 10 at night. So I think a better understanding of how things work in these areas. Certainly the lack of services, and I know that a lot of the health professionals as well, it is that feeling of frustration of not being able to provide what they want to provide for the families. I know I have heard said about professionals feeling that they're failing at what they're doing, because they're not managing to provide the support or signpost services or access services, or so a lot of families are struggling, but there's nothing else to offer them. There's nothing else there. I think from what I hear when I'm speaking to families in the areas that are more rural, is that they just feel their voices aren't being heard. I think it's all very well being saying, tell us what your problem is, but someone actually has to hear it, but they have to listen, and they have to properly listen to what's being said, and really have a good look at how to make that better. I think it's very easy to sit and say, well, you know what, we'll just put that service there. But actually putting a service into some of these rural areas is very demanding. It's very challenging. We know this ourselves from trying to, we've had to try and establish our service over there when it's a brand new service, and a lot of communities are very suspicious of new services coming in and offering wonderful things, and then the realization of managing to commit to that and actually being able to put forward what they're saying they're going to put forward, a lot of them just fizzle away. But so that I think they often feel, I remember sending off an email at the beginning of this project to a community that was up in Western Sutherland, and I got an email back. It was a community council, and I was looking for a platform for us to put our information out, if they had a media platform or even a local notice board, because at the time it was lockdown and we weren't allowed to travel. So that one of the, I think it was the chair of the local community council, came back to me and she said, that's amazing, we really need your service up here. Of course, we'll help you out, we'll put all this information out there, but do you know where we are? And I just felt it was so sad. It was one of the saddest emails, I think, because I just thought it's almost like they'd accepted that as soon as anybody realised actually where they were as a community, that facility would just stop. So I just thought it was very telling, you know, that maybe they've been let down in the past by services or organisations, and they just felt, well, why would nobody comes here? We don't have anything. And I just thought it was real shame. And I just think for parents, to help parents over there, that they really need to have a voice heard, but properly heard. You know, an understanding of the challenges of what they're facing day to day. You know, every day it's the same challenges. But okay.
Message that you'd like any parents who are watching this video who live in rural and isolated communities to hear just now?
Yeah, I think if there was anything, is approach the health professionals, because they, you know, should be your first port of call. The health professionals know that we are there, you know, if it's families that would benefit from our support. But I think there is a project up here called Highland Maternity Voice Partnership, and they are trying to establish a platform for parents to have a voice. It's initially in regard to maternity services through the Highland, but they're trying to establish families to understand that they have a platform to reach out. And I think it's just a case of families being asked to reach out, because I think once they reach out, they will be heard by the health professionals. They will be, but it's just how to move that on. Yeah.
So reach out and ask for support if you're needing it.
Reach out, and ask for support. I mean, if there's a starting point, it would be the health visitors or social work. It's who to reach out to. That's the thing with it. They don't know where to start. I think if there was a lot more information available for families, as of, you know, we understand what you're facing, we understand the challenge. This is where you can reach out, and I'm not sure that that's being put forward as well as it could be. But yes, reach out, you know, just ask, and then, you know, hopefully there's something from that.
Yeah. Okay. And how can families get in touch with yourselves, or professionals get in touch if they would like to find out more?
Okay, well, we have an email address that is a generic email address. It's families@home-starteasthighland.org.uk. And our phone number, that you're best to get the main office number, Gordon, is 01349 854 018.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me. If anyone is watching this and would like some more information about Parent and Infant Mental Health Scotland, you can follow us on Twitter at PIMHScot. That's PIMHSCOT. You can look out for our new website, which is launching soon, or you can get in touch with us via email on info@pimhs.org.uk. That's info@pimhs.org.uk. Just get in touch if you've got any questions, and thank you very much for watching.